Welcome to Crazy Gamer Models. I am the Crazy Gamer and I do models. It is Panther Tank Sunday, PTS for short. How is everyone doing on this fine Sunday? Today we're going to look at some Panther Tank stuff, but what are you working on today? Is it a Panther or something else? Tell me in the comments below. So let's get started. So, in the last two episodes of Panther Tank Sunday, I talked about finding a Panther kit, getting an one with the interior, then how to pick the tank you want, and then possibly some photo etch upgrades you want to get for it. So now you have a model kit. You've picked the model you want because you got a 2-in-1 model, and you've got some references, and we're going to go over all this. You got some references, and now what do? It's time to start doing this tank. So there's some steps you have to do because the photo etch instructions are going to be a little bit different, and they're not going to coincide with the instructions from TACOM. So you're going to need to do some pre-planning, and that's what this video is about. It's about some pre-planning. So you got your first tank kit here, and we're going to open it up, and we're going to look at what we got, all the stuff we got for the tank kit. We got all the sprues in here, which I did a sprue review of this if you want to look at the sprues on it. We have our photo etch kit, we have our TACOM instruction manual, and then I went ahead and I printed from the photo etch company, which is Edard in this case. I printed full-size sheets of their instructions. They are on A4 paper. They print best on A4 paper. They fill out, and they're the best on that instead of doing like the 8.5 by 11. So we're gonna take out the photo etch, and we're gonna put the kit up here to the side. And guys, listen, if you guys like the video, if you like Panther Tank Sunday, go ahead and give me a like, and then, if you want to see more Panther Tank Sunday, you go ahead and subscribe to that channel. But tell me what you're working on today. Leave it in the comments. Do you like Panther tanks? Is that a tank you like, and why do you like the Panther tanks? I happen to like their design. I happen to like that there's a lot of full interior kits for them. I like all the different variants, like the upgrades through the years. I like all that kind of stuff because you can build a specific version the way you want to build it. And there's different kits that allow you to do that. In this case, I want to build a command tank. So I have my instructions, I have my photo etch instructions, and then I have my photo etch, which I'm probably not going to need. We're probably not going to look at that till later. And then I have my reference material. Now, we went over this in the first episode on So You Want to Build a Panther Tank. So that was 2 episodes ago. So I basically went through here and I've marked all the relevant stuff for my tank. This is for the base A model, and then it talks about the years to productions, all of that stuff. And then also I marked the stuff about the 267, which I'm going to be building, and about all the guns and all the upgrades that has. And I flipped through the pictures here, trying to look for a tank to model it after. And I really haven't found one that I've settled on, so I'm going to do my own thing, but I'm going to take some inspiration from some of these photos. Like, for example, a lot of these, the side skirts have damage on them and things like that, and that's not something the TACOM kit does easily because they're overlapped, and if you just cut them up, they don't want to hang right just the way that they're designed. But that's something I want to do on this tank, and I want to show you guys how to do that. Also, I want to do, I want to be able to get through the tracks a little easier than I normally do on TACOM tracks. They tend to be a little bit difficult, so I want to do them kind of early. And I want everything to look good. So that's what we're going to do. So I got this. I got some ideas from some different reference photos from this book. And then now I'm going to look at some painting. So what do I want to do for painting in this? Now I'm currently doing a Panther A, this exact tank, and I'm painting it. It's coming along. You may have seen it on some of the Panther Tank episodes. I'm slowly making progress on it. I have not been able to use my airbrush booth for a period of weeks, and I'm hoping that will be remedied next week. So for painting, I have this nice Ammo by Mig book here. It gives a little bit of history on the Panthers from versions, but it also gives some nice color pictures of how camo was applied, you know, what the tracks look. And these are kind of reconditioned, you know, upkept tanks. So if you wanna, if you got a tank you like and you wanna recreate the rust and effects like that, you know, this is a good book for that. Plus, it has, if I remember correctly, in the back here, it has different camo schemes for all the different models. And then here is even a Panther A command tank, a late production with the command. So this is a nice version. You know, I say, hey, I may want to do this N1 with some battle damage. So, you know, or here's an O1 with some, and you know, do some battle damage on that. But I want to do a tank with some battle damage. And here we got some nice common camouflage patterns, Zimmerit patterns. This is a good little book for looking for painting references and things like that. And of course there's ads in the back to buy ammo products. I thought it had interior photos of what the interior looks like. I guess it does not have interior photos. I thought it had what the painted interior should look like, but for that I have these Research Squad books, Panther Project, and it basically has, you know, what everything looks like on the inside. So I've gathered all my research material, my instructions, my kit, my photo etch. Now let's look at some paint. So I got the colors I want. I got the colors I want to use, so I'm going to gather my paint together. So you can go with what's in the TACOM instruction manual and go with the MIG colors. There's MIG callouts. You can cross-reference it. You can go with Tamiya, things like that. I tend to use a Mr. Surfacer 1500 surface primer, and then I will use model air paints from Vallejo or Mission model paints, the acrylics, and spray them through my airbrush. And then any brush painting I'll use Vallejo model color. I just feel that that gives me the best results. So that's that. So we got our paint. Now, what do I recommend tools wise? Well, we're going to be working with photo etch, and it's good to, if you can afford it, have a photo etch bender. Now, this is a Trumpeter photo etch bender. It's one of their Master Tool series. They make 3. They make a large, medium, and small. If you can only afford one, get the medium, because you can do grab bars and handles on the back. And it would cover basically all the bends you need for this Panther. And for a Panther in general, unless the photo etch is really, really crazy. You're going to need some glue, some super glue, to glue the photo etch, or you could possibly solder it. I recommend some kicker to, you know, help it dry a little faster. And you're going to need, of course, your plastic glue, sanding implements, sprue cutters. Let's see here. I use a scalpel blade for cleaning up parts. You can also use something by Citadel here. This is a mold line remover, can help clean up the parts. And there's a lot of different things. And then, you know, you have your glue applicators. This is an airbrush needle. I use this a lot. You can use a glue looper. It should be in one of these drawers. Or Mr. Hobby makes glue applicators, because you have some long seams in some of this photo etch that we'll see in a minute. And it's nice to have an applicator designed for it. You're also going to need a file to clean up your photo etch. You can use a scalpel blade to cut it out. I recommend a piece of acrylic or a piece of glass. And you know, your hobby glue, and we talked about sanding stuff and things like that. So you got your supplies, you got all your stuff, you got an area to work in. I recommend a decent sized area to work in because you're going to be pulling from multiple sprues at one time. I recommend organizing it. I recommend keeping the sprues in a bag, separated, possibly labeled. I label all my bags and I actually transfer them into Ziploc bags. So this is like my R from my King Tiger build, and I keep them in here, and then as the sprue gets smaller, I make the bag smaller and I reuse the bags. This is probably the 5th or 6th time that bag's been used. I use a permanent marker and wipe it off with some alcohol so it comes off very quickly. A nice little way to organize your parts. This is a magnetic tray that has Expo on it, and these magnetic cups sit on there, and then you can just lay out your parts all labeled, and you're good to go that way. So that's basic tools covered, and we'll talk about more during the build and what's more needed for the photo etch. Also would be good for photo etch is a nice pair of photo etch bending pliers. These are Tamiya's. Xuron makes a pair. There's a review of the Xurons on my channel. They make a lot of nice tools for photo etch. I don't believe there's any loops or anything in this. You don't need anything to bend curves or anything like that. But let's take a look at the blown up instructions of this photo etch to see what we're getting ourselves into here. So let's see if I can zoom in, and it's not as bad on the white. So on this is the interior kit. This is the first kit. It consists of 5 pages. And basically this is going to be your ammo containers that store your ammo on the floor of the tank. And you can quickly, it says right here, this is set A of the instructions from page 10. So we can flip right to page 10. And we can see, page 10, not step 10. Page 10, we can see A right here. So this is going to be replacing most of the parts from this. Is going to be replacing your R30. So you can see that. It's going to be replacing your R30, your R2, your R23, and your R22, and your R10 is what's going to be replaced by this box that gets folded up. So now when you have these photo etch instructions, it basically shows a completed box. So there's fold lines on the photo etch, and I've done videos and live streams on working with photo etch and doing bends and stuff, and we'll talk about it in the video as it progresses. But you kind of have these bend lines on the photo etch right here, and you just kind of bend on those lines and it kind of folds together like a box. It's not too complicated. Gluing together the ends or possibly soldering them, however you want to approach the situation. I will probably show both techniques on that. But as you can see with this photo etch, there's a lot of details here. You can have them opened or closed. There is little latches on these, all that good stuff. So you can actually close these and not even put the rounds of ammunition in. That's something I'm honestly thinking about. So then we have the next page is going to be your B in the same page. Page 10 is going to be your B ammo box. Then you have your C and your D ammo box, and it's basically the same, folded up, add the pieces it tells you to add. And then you have E and F from the same page 10. And then the last page of the interior kit is going to be your consoles, your radios. This is your driver's console. You're going to have to remove all the red here is what you're going to remove from the actual pieces, and the blue is the actual photo etch, and the black is the actual part. So you're going to remove all the surface detail, and I'll talk about how to do that. and then you're going to glue these photo etch pieces on. The same with the radios for the commander, and the same for the radios for the radio operator. And you're going to add all these handles and doohickeys to it to make it look all cool. And that's going to cover the interior kit. Now, if you notice on this, it doesn't tell you what page number these steps are from. So you're going to have to flip through the manual and mark it in your manual that, hey, this is, this is like step 10, or this is on page 10, step 4. And you're going to have to do all that. And as we approach it, we'll go over that. So you need to go through the book, basically, and mark out where you need photo etch. Now, for the exterior parts here, this is basically telling you you're going to be replacing this U35 and U30 on each side. It means opposite sides, basically. It tells you a little chart here, symmetrical assembly. So that's that. I'm going to get some water. And then basically you're going to be going through and you're going to be adding tool clamps to all your stuff. And if you know me, I'm a big fan of realistic tool clamps. So that is your exterior kit. And I didn't print the one for the Zimmerit because the Zimmerit's pretty self-explanatory. I recommend for the Zimmerit, because it's such large pieces in sheets, I recommend an epoxy. 5-minute epoxy, 15-minute epoxy, 30-minute epoxy, 2 parts, liquid, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'll show that in the videos too. I use a 15-minute epoxy and do 1 piece at a time, just so I have time to position it, mix it really well, and all that good stuff. So you got your manual, you flip through it, you labeled where all your photo etch is going to go. You got that done. So now you are ready to build your model, correct? No, you're not. You need to wash all your pieces. Some people say don't do it. Some people say do it. I find that with the tack-on kits, if you wash them in warm, mild, soapy water and let them dry really well, that the paint sticks a little bit better. I just have that. It just feels the paint sticks a little bit better. I recommend a surface primer like this Tamiya surface primer right here for the photo etch parts, so the paint will stick better. They also have Mr. Hobby has a surface primer for metal parts, and that works great. But as for moving forward, now that you have everything and you have everything laid out and you have a game plan, read through the instructions a couple times. Sit on the couch, flip through the instructions, so you have your corrections marked. You get a good layout for what the sprues are going to look like and all that stuff. And then look at your references and check this. Watch some videos on YouTube. Check out some review websites and familiarize yourself with the instructions. And then before you actually sit down and build, familiar yourself with the sprues, so you're not fumbling around, and kind of keep them organized, because a lot of times, like at this stage right here, you're pulling off the F, the D, and the A sprue. And then down here, your E's, P's, L's, P's, but this is going to get photo etch. So you're really jumping all over the sprues sometimes, and it makes it nice to keep yourself organized. Tackcom does a nice thing where they punch out the sprue, like the letter of the sprue on the sprue, the letter's punched out there. So it makes it easier that way. But like I said, I put it in a bag and label it, and then I can flip through and grab the bags I need. And I look ahead a couple instructions, and I put those on my table, or I put those on top in the box. And then when you're done for the day, make sure all of the sprues are back in the bags. Make sure it goes back in the box, put the lid on it, and put the part that's drying in a safe spot so it's not going to get bumped by your kids, a dog, a cat. Make sure it doesn't get knocked around. And try not to leave off in a step. Try to leave off in a part that you feel is a good stopping point. because with these full interior kits, the tolerances are very tight, and you're going to want to build sub-assemblies ahead of time and test fit before you do the final gluing. So you want to plan ahead to where, you know, you're not, like, for example, with this transmission here, you don't want to glue 2 pieces, come back the next day, glue a couple pieces, and then put everything together and then not test fit it and make sure everything's aligned before it dries. So you want to make sure you're at a good stopping point. Like, you can do that, make sure it's all aligned, then take a break, and then, you know, do these sides, but before you put them on, make sure everything lines up and nothing's going to get in the way. Things like that. So plan out your build. That's the most important. Plan out what you're going to paint, when you're going to paint it. Mark up the instruction book. Some people don't like that. I do. I mark off when I use a part. I mark off when I complete a step. I even mark the page with tabs if I have to come back and do something. Because sometimes it's best to skip a step and do it later. So I mark things like that in my book. But at this point, this is going to be the end of it. You guys soon will be able to follow this build review on my Instagram at Crazy Gamer Models. If you guys have any questions or you run into any problems on your model builds or anything, leave a comment, or you can email me at crazygamermodels@gmail.com. That's one word. Or you can visit my Facebook page, Crazy Gamer Models, one word, all lowercase. So, you know, if you liked it, like it. If you like the channel, subscribe to it. I try to get content out daily. Sometimes issues arise and I can't get anything out, but I try to get something out. Panther Sunday is today, and Tiger Tank Saturdays is on Saturdays. Updates are on Mondays. Something soon will be coming to Tuesdays. Spooky Ship Thursday, Building Techniques Wednesday, and Feedback Friday are some of the programs that run on this channel. So be sure to check it out and enjoy building your model. And that's going to do it for this. For Crazy Gamer Models, I am the Crazy Gamer. You guys have a fantastic day and enjoy the models.